Hello everyone, welcome you all in this session. Myself, Assistant Professor Ripa Gupta from Alger School of Law. Today I'm going to take a subject on rehabilitation of criminals, in which we are going to discuss the theories of punishment. So we'll discuss what is punishment, meaning of punishment, object of punishment, and different theories of punishment. So let us start with the topic. So before starting the subject, let's understand the concept behind our today's subject. It is rehabilitation of criminals. So you know that in India, crime has been, for criminal act, we have the code, Indian Penal Code, which govern the punishments and different crimes in India. So this is not about IPC. We are not discussing about here the punishment or the crime or offences. Here we are discussing about the psychology of the prisoners. So that is, and what should we do with the prisoners? Whether we need a society which is very harsh with the punishment or the prisoners, or we need to see how can we rehabilitate them or how can we help them to being a good citizen. So rehabilitation of criminals is all about how to understand the mentality of the criminals, to give them a chance so they can become a good citizen. So before moving to our topic, to understand the theories of punishment, to understand what is punishment. So for that we have to see the Indian Penal Code. So in Indian Penal Code, punishment has not been defined. In the definition part, you will not find the definition of punishment. That means in IPC they are not defining what is punishment. But yes, they have a separate section. They define what kind of punishments are available under Indian Penal Code. So for that we have section 53 of Indian Penal Code, which defines the punishment which are available in India. So it includes death, imprisonment for life, imprisonment which of two description: one for rigorous imprisonment, second simple imprisonment, and then forfeiture of property and fine. So these are 5 types of punishment available under the Indian Penal Code. So to understand the punishment, as you know, there is no definition of punishment, but what is the meaning of punishment? So we can say that punishment is a process by which state inflicts some kind of pain to a person or his property because he had done something wrong to the society. So punishment is sort of some punishment when you are not obeying the rules that has been established by the law that you have to follow, and when you disobey it, you have to face some punishment or some pain by the state. That is punishment. So punishment is some because you did something wrong which you should not do, and for that you are suffering some pain. That is punishment. So now let us understand the theories of punishment. So this is always been a debatable thing, whether we need to give punishment or what kind of punishment, because they are human beings, whether we need to give them chance. So this theories of punishment has been gone through a long debate. Different countries have abolished death penalty because they believe in a human right, the right to life of their prisoners too. So of course punishment has been gone through several debates. So we have different theories, different kinds of punishment since in ancient time to till today, what we are following today, what we wanted to understand how to give them punishment. So let's understand these kinds of punishment one by one. Let's start with the first kind of punishment. It is a retributive punishment. It is a very ancient type of punishment which can be seen in the Hammurabi Code. Hammurabi Code is the first written law, we can say. It was engraved by the Babylonian king in a one stone. They have engraved the whole Hammurabi Code. In that code they first time wrote about the written law. So in that they have mentioned about the punishment. They mentioned that eye for an eye and tooth for a tooth. That means the person who gave pain to the other person or his property, same pain of he has to suffer. That is retributive punishment. That means if I kill someone, the same pain should I have to suffer. Same thing should be done to me. That is retributive punishment. So it says that that person should be liable of the same pain that he has given to someone else. So we can say that it is a kind of a payback to the pain, because you have given certain pain to us, we need to pay back to that also. But this theory has certain drawbacks too, because sometimes there are legal sometimes you have you some punishment he cannot be retributed, that means you cannot be give them back. For example, if I drive rashly, it may be illegal, but again that cannot be payback to me. How you can do that by driving rashly again? So that cannot be done. For example, another crime like rape, kidnapping, these things cannot be come under the purview of retributive. So this is kind of a vague kind of punishment which cannot be defined in every crime, which cannot be given to every criminal for all kind of crimes. So the retributive punishment has this own lacunae in its theory, that you cannot have the same pain for every crime, because you cannot give the same punishment to that person in certain crimes. It is impossible to give that punishment. So retributive, though is a very ancient type of punishment, this the same cannot be followed in all the cases of the crime. So this punishment is their own lacunae, but yes, it is still believing the the kind of punishment was there, or sometimes somewhere you can see it in some examples, you can see it that they gave them harsh punishment, the same pain that they are suffer. So this punishment means the payback of the pain that offender has given to someone, now he will has to suffer. That is retributive punishment. Second type punishment is deterrent punishment. Deterrent punishment means it set an example to the whole society, not to that person only. They set such a punishment that by seeing that the whole society can feel the danger, that we should not repeat that crime. That means a very harsh punishment. You can see deterrent punishment in in ancient England, medieval England time, and in Mughals too. In East, when Britishers were here, they were also following this deterrent punishment. They gave very harsh punishment on a petty, very small kind of crimes like stealing or pocketing. This kind of crimes you can see that they give them death penalty. So deterrent punishment is a very harsh punishment that is given to the offenders for their offenses. But yes, this punishment has been opposed by in today's era, because they believe in human rights, as criminals may have their human right. You cannot be harsh all the time. You need to understand the criminals, their mentality, their situation before giving them such a punishment. So deterrent punishment, though followed by many countries even today, many countries has opposed deterrent punishment too, because they believe on the humanity ground. This punishment has been uh, you know opposed by on the ground of humanity, that we need to be human towards prisoners too. We need to understand the psychology. So this punishment, though followed by many countries, even in India, death penalty is there for heinous crimes. So even we are following death penalty, but for the heinous crime, in very rare case we are giving them death penalty, but yes, we have this penalty. So deterrent punishment, which sets an example to the wrongdoer, not only the wrongdoer but the whole society. It is there in many countries, but of course opposed by many countries. So it has that its own, that you cannot always have a harsh punishment all kind of crimes. You need to be liberal towards the offenders on the humanity ground. So deterrent punishment means a very harsh punishment. So first is retributive, which means the payback of the pain. Second, deterrent means very harsh punishment. Now we'll see the third punishment. Now the next type of punishment is preventive punishment. Preventive means that person is not allowed to be in society, allowed disabled from the society, to imprison him, imprison him in his own home. That means he should be prevented to become in society, so that he cannot commit that crime again. But again, this theory has its own, like other two has, that you cannot prevent all the criminals in one jail. For example, there are hardened prisoners too who can suffer the pain, and you accompany them with the, some criminals who are being of criminals because of certain situation. Now this thing can change their thinking, and they can be turned into hardened prisoners. So preventive punishment, even though mostly country follows that they imprison the prisoners, but again that has, they said that we should have a different thought that how should we prevent them. So preventive means disable them for society, that they cannot commit the crime, they cannot enter into the society and be prevent from the society. So it is called preventive punishment. Next kind of punishment is expiation punishment. This punishment is more on moral grounds than the law background. Expiation means reparation, amends, or compensation. That means here the wrongdoer has to pay compensation to the deceased family. That means he has to take care of them for maybe either time being or whether for life, depends on the crime they have committed. So expiation theory is on basically moral grounds, that you have to now take a responsibility of the deceased family. That is now your duty. In today's era, this theory is not prevailing at all. But yes, in modern ways, it is prevailing, like to have a compensation. Here, the wrongdoer has to pay compensation to the deceased family or to the state, that if they are have committed such kind of offenses. So basically expiation theory is not prevailing in anywhere, that the wrongdoer has to take care of the families of the deceased, that they have affected parties. But now this has been approached in a modern way, that now they have to pay compensation to the family. So this theory has changed its nature, like in the form of compensation. So now the convicted person has to pay compensation to the deceased family or to the state for their crimes. Now the next is reformative theory, which is a very modern theory, and it is mostly adopted theory also. In reformative theory, they reform the criminals by understanding their crime, or maybe by seeing their behavior. They reform their ways, so that after completion of their punishment, they can lead a good life as a citizen. So for that, in the jail, they are being trained by the they trained by the experts, like how they can pursue their business. They teach them, they teach them how to make a food, or for example, with Sabarmati jail, you have Sabarmati jail bhajia. That means they teach the prisoners how to, you can have their own bhajia houses. So this is how you can reform the criminals, to to teach them how they can lead a good life as a good citizen, as a responsible citizen. They teach them that what should they can have as a good pathway, or how they can adopt the good pathway. So reformative theory, where in the imprisonment they reform the prisoner, they change their mindsets. They they teach them to how to be as a good citizen in the society. So this theory is mostly widely accepted theory, where they reforms the criminals. In India, we have many open jails, where the families of the prisoners live together in the jail. They used to go for the their business or where their jobs outside the jail, and they leave back to come to the jail. But this can be done only after they learn the the psychology of the prisoners, when they behaves very good, when they are circumstantial prisoners. So reformative theory is where you reform the criminals in the jail only. You reform them and understand them and make them capable, that they can lead a good life, they be a respectable person of society. So reformative theory is a modern theory which mostly countries or states followed. Next is a concept, this is a new concept of rehabilitation of the criminals. So what is rehabilitation? So rehabilitation means to rehab, that means to uh, change the nature, to understand the prisoners, to reconciliate them. That means to have a reconciliation, to understand them, why they become a criminal, to understand their circumstances. So next modern step is coming over here in this prisoners of punishment thing, is a rehabilitation of punishment. Here they understand the psychology of the criminals, why they become criminals. Sometimes they become criminals because of their geographical area, because where they are living, it is surrounded by the offenders, or they are surrounded by that kind of atmosphere, that their brought up has been done because of this activities. Then they can be a prisoner because of certain circumstances, because he cannot be able to have food for a long time, or that he can be a criminal because he become a drug addict, that he cannot handle his own anger, that he cannot no control his he is so much frustrated or depressed person. So here it is a very one step forward from the reformative. There is a rehabilitation where they reconciliate with the prisoners in a separate room. They one to one they talk with the prisoners, understand their psychology. Then for them they have a different rehab centers. For example, if there is a drug addict person, that they have for them a drug rehab centers, for anger management centers. If they are, like for example, we have separate houses for juveniles. What are they? They are rehabilitation. They shape their future. They become prisoners because of certain circumstances. Why they choose this way? Why they choose to become criminal? They understand that theory. Why they become a criminal? Then they change their present. So they are criminals because of certain things they have faced. So they understand that particular thing and then change their shape, change their future. So here rehabilitation means they understand the psychology of the criminals. So basically rehabilitation is the upcoming concept in many countries. This has been originated in the 19th century in the United States of America. They followed this theory, but it again this theory has its own like it needs a huge funds, of course, to rehab centers for the prisoners to understand their psychology. And criminals, for some hardcore criminals, you cannot understand them, they cannot even change after these rehab centers. So this needs a huge fund. Then psychology, we have to understand the criminals after they are criminals. So to change their shape, their future, it's very bit difficult for the state to do that. So rehab is a very positive approach for the criminals. It has its own lacunae in the form of government size, because they don't have such kind of funds or places where they can keep prisoners or rehab them. It needs a huge fund. So rehabilitation is a new growing concept right now that we need to understand, because no one is born criminal. We all are criminals because of certain circumstances or certain geographical surroundings, whatever it may be, biological, whatever it is. So here we need to understand why society turn into this criminal, why they choose this way. So for that they have started this rehabilitation theory, but again it needs huge investment and funds from the government. So it has its own lacunae. That's the reason why this theory is not adopted in so much vast way. They have very few examples in certain countries that they follow this theory. So today we have discussed the concept of rehabilitation theory and kinds of punishment. So in this subject basically we'll discuss about the different types of theories of punishment and what are the process that are there for the prisoners in different acts like constitution, IPC, CRPC. So here and internationally also. So in today's session we understand the different types of theories of punishment. It is retributive, deterrent, preventive, expiation, reformative and rehabilitation. So that is all about the theories of punishment. Thank you.